Today, I'll be doing maintenance work on my pressure washer engine. And first of all, I decided to do spark plug gap adjustment. And I followed by the valve lash adjustment. So I'm taking the valve cover off. And these guys were sealed with the liquid gasket, so I needed to pound it with a mallet to take it off. And then I'll be doing the governor adjustment. So you simply take the locking nut loose and you pinch the governor adjustment knob, which only turns like quarter of a turn. So you'd want to turn this all the way to clockwise while you have the throttle all the way open. And then once that's done, you simply just tighten the lock nut back on. Okay, so once that's done, the fuel tank can come back on. And then, so I am cleaning the liquid gasket from the valve cover. It's a little bit of a headache. If you want to play it safe, you probably want to have to stuff the inside the engine with a rag. And then, so here's the main part. So it's so lash adjustment. They have different spec for intake and exhaust gap. So I decided to go take the mid-range, which ended up being about 0.03 for the exhaust and 0.04 for the intake. So basically pinch the adjusting screw and then hold it, and then you loosen the lock nut, loose or tighten when you're done. So I basically had the feeler gauge stuck in there while I fasten it, and then make sure something that's above the spec doesn't slide in. So at this point, with the exhaust, for example, I set the gap at 0.03 and 0.04. Unless I try really hard, it wouldn't go in. So as you do this, you have to make sure the engine is set at the top dead center, TDC. So you'll see two markings on the cam pulley. So that basically indicates it is at the top dead center. Or you can just take the spark plug off and then stick a screwdriver in there to make sure the piston's all the way up. And then another liquid gasket cleaning from valve cover. I like to use just a wire brush and then clean it off with the brake cleaner. So I laid out the liquid gasket already, so I'm just squishing it. Put the screws on, hand tighten until just enough to squish out the liquid gasket, and leave it for an hour or two before torquing it down to the spec. And that should be good to go. And besides that, I made sure air cleaner is clean. It was clean, so I didn't change it. And I also did the engine oil change. One thing to mention with the engine oil, it's a dipstick. So when you're changing the oil level, you simply wanna just stick the fuel hole cap into the hole. You don't wanna tighten it down. That's not how you measure the oil level in this one. So without fastening the filler cap, you simply just stick it in there, see the height. Yeah. And so this is when I'm doing the slow adjustment on the carb. So technically when you're making that kind of adjustment, you're supposed to, I guess, do it without the air filter on. So I took the air filter off. And the slow on this particular engine, the idling RPM is about 15 to 1600 RPM. And you want to top RPM at around 37, 30, just under 3900 I guess. 3700, 3800 would be okay. So I'm just checking lower end to top end, make sure everything's smooth. So the valve lash was really, the gap was really big prior to adjustment, and it was making tinkering sound. So that's definitely gone after this adjustment. Okay, so then next project hopefully would be my rear diff rebuild. I'm still waiting for one more part, so hopefully that'll come soon. Thank you for watching.